Our journey begins in the year 1948, a pivotal moment in history when the State of Israel was established. The United Nations had passed a resolution recognizing the right of the Jewish people to establish their own nation in the previously British-controlled Palestine Mandate. This move sparked significant conflict with the Arab Palestinian population, who vehemently opposed this decision. Following the establishment of Israel, the Israeli government began building Jewish settlements in the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip. These settlements quickly became a point of contention, as Palestinians saw them as a violation of their rights to their land and territory. The conflict escalated into several major wars between Israel and Arab nations intent on overthrowing Israel. These included the Arab-Israeli War of 1948, the Six-Day War of 1967, and the Yom Kippur War of 1973. Adding fuel to the fire, the status of Jerusalem, a city considered holy by three major religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, became one of the most sensitive points within the conflict. During the Six-Day War in 1967, Israel took control of East Jerusalem, an act seen as an occupation by the international community. Another significant issue arose as millions of Palestinian people became refugees due to the conflict and subsequent wars. This created an unresolved issue concerning the right of return and compensation for these refugees. Fast forward to 2022, violence erupted in the Gaza Strip, controlled by Hamas, leading to a series of confrontations between armed groups and Israel. Rocket attacks from Gaza and Israeli retaliations heightened tensions in the region. Efforts to achieve peace between Palestine and Israel continued, albeit with significant obstacles. Various countries and international organizations made diplomatic efforts to encourage peaceful negotiations. The resolution of the Israel-Palestine conflict remained a global priority for achieving peace and stability in the Middle East. Numerous plans and initiatives have been proposed, including a two-state solution with Israel and Palestine coexisting peacefully. The Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem continued to be a controversial issue. Efforts to halt the construction of Israeli settlements and facilitate peace negotiations were ongoing. The conflict resulted in immense humanitarian suffering for both Palestinians and Israelis. Many civilians were affected by the violence, and aid organizations strive to provide assistance to those in need. As we've seen, the Israel-Palestine conflict has a complex history and continues to evolve. The situation in the Middle East can change rapidly, and the latest news about the conflict can vary from time to time. For more detailed information, it's recommended to follow reliable news sources and reputable news organizations for updates on the situation. In conclusion, the Israel-Palestine conflict, rooted in historical, territorial, and religious disputes, is a multifaceted issue. The aspiration for peace remains, but the path to it is fraught with challenges. The international community continues to work towards a resolution, hoping for a future where both Israelis and Palestinians can live in peace.
Picture this: a conflict so enduring and complex that it has spanned over a century, and yet its resolution appears as elusive as ever. Welcome to the Israel-Palestine conflict, a geopolitical, religious, and humanitarian quagmire that has left an indelible mark on the annals of world history. The roots of this conflict can be traced back to the late 19th century, when Jewish nationalism, known as Zionism, began to rise in response to anti-Semitism in Europe. Zionists sought to establish a national homeland for Jews in Palestine, which was then under the rule of the Ottoman Empire. However, this aspiration clashed with the nationalistic aspirations of the Arab Palestinians who inhabited the land. Fast forward to 1947, and the United Nations proposed a partition plan to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. The Jewish leaders accepted the plan, but the Arab leaders rejected it, leading to a war in 1948. Israel emerged victorious, establishing itself as a state and expanding its territory beyond the UN-proposed boundaries. In the decades that followed, a series of wars and peace agreements only deepened the divide. The Six-Day War in 1967 saw Israel capture and occupy several territories, including the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem. These territories remain points of contention today, as Palestinians seek to establish an independent state in these areas. The late 20th and early 21st centuries have seen numerous attempts at peace negotiations, most notably the Oslo Accords in the 1990s and the Camp David Summit in 2000. Despite these efforts, the conflict continues, marked by periods of violence and relative calm. Fast forward to the present day and the conflict continues to evolve. Public opinion, particularly in the United States, is shifting. Sympathy for Palestinians among American adults is at an all-time high, reflecting changing perceptions and increased access to information. Yet the path to peace remains fraught with obstacles, from political leadership changes to external actors' influence. The Israel-Palestine conflict is not just a territorial dispute, it's a tangle of national identities, religious significance, security issues, and humanitarian challenges. It is a struggle for self-determination, recognition, and peace. It's a testament to the resilience of people living under constant uncertainty and a reminder of the human cost of unresolved conflict. In conclusion, the Israel-Palestine conflict is a historical, political, religious, and national identity complexity. Its resolution is a formidable and complex goal, but peace and stability in the Middle East remain the hope of many around the world. The path forward may be challenging, but the aspiration for a just and lasting resolution remains as pertinent as ever.